Hello everybody, today I got so excited about Druid, and one of the reasons for that is Crushing Blow. Now I visited Diablo.fandom.com in order to read more about it, and the more I read about it, the more excited I was about it. Now again, it's a Druid class mechanic, and it also exists in Diablo 2, by the way. I mean, I read about it. You can actually get it, for example, in crafted items, in certain sets, unique items. But it's different here. There's a big difference. Well, first of all, it has a chance to trigger with any earth skill of the druid. Now, basically, from what I've read so far, these are the earth skills. Again, if I'm missing something, let me know in the comment section below. Now, listen carefully. This will reduce the enemy's life by a flat percentage of their total health. Unlike Diablo 2, where it's from their current health. For example, if they have, let's say, 40 out of 100 total, it should be the 40. Here, it's the total health. So if they have 100 and it's going to be, let's say, 20%, it's 20% of the 100, not from the 40. So basically, it's much more potent compared to what you have in Diablo 2. But the reason I put the asterisk there is we can expect it should be expected that you're going to deal, of course, a less damage compared to, well, some maybe particular enemies, champions, uniques, and bosses. For example, when I look at Diablo 2 stats, you can see that, for example, versus normal enemies, it's 25%. With a melee weapon, if you use a missile weapon, it's going to be 12.5%. If it's versus players or hireling, it's 10% and 5%, so it's much less when you do it against players in PvP. Versus champions, uniques, and bosses is with the melee is 12.5, with the missiles is 6.25. So again, it's very, very strong versus normal enemies, but it's going to be less if you do it against players or some of the more tougher enemies in the game. Now the question is how far you can actually maximize the chances. For what I read in Diablo 2, you can maximize it to 100%, but again, it's not like in Diablo 4 where it's from the total HP. So this can be absolutely devastating. They're probably going to balance it out, but this is something really, really huge for the droid. This is just a droid, I mean droid. This is something insane. Now, if it works similar to Diablo 2, we can expect it not crit. Basically, it's kind of like an additional source of damage. So this means that when you deal your skill damage, you can get, extra critical skill damage, and then you add the damage from this crushing blow, and this will be additive to the regular damage that might have a crit that you deal, but it's separated damage. Now, I don't have information whether the percentage will be after you deal damage with your earth-based skill or before. We need to wait and see, or if you know, by the way, let me know in the comment section below so we know about that. But this is crazy because, again, we can just get a chunk of the health of enemies if this actually proc. So this makes me really try to play Druid with kind of focus on Earth skill and try to maximize this. I still need to know how you can actually maximize, increase the chances that it can actually proc. And then, well, this can be insane. So if it, again, what I think, because this can be really, really strong, like a flat percentage going out of enemies, if it's high percentage, and you can get like 25%, for example, just think how crazy it is. You just work in building some really fast cooldown on certain abilities, earth abilities, and increase, for example, depends again if it's after or before, also increasing the damage of these earth abilities and other things in the talent tree. So yeah, I'm very intrigued. I really want to check it out to see basically how useful it is. This is kind of mechanic that really appeals to me. Again, just seeing like a chunk, it's like feeling like a huge crit just fall onto the enemy. You just take a chunk of the HP out. It can be crazy, especially that it's relative to the full HP of the enemy and not related to the current health of the enemy. But again, keep in mind that, of course, it will be reduce. We can expect it to be reduced for high tier enemies like bosses, for example. But again, if you want to clear enemies fast and there's a strong enemy, it allows you to kind of focus on that and using this ability, the earth ability, maybe on the the big enemy, so you can maybe proc this and reduce this and get eliminate that enemy fast. That can be very interesting. And then use combination of other abilities. But when it comes to earth abilities, kind of a play around it to make sure that you can proc it and clear a big enemy faster. Anyway, interesting mechanics. Tell me what you think. If you have more information about it, let me know, because this one is interesting and I really can't wait to try it out in the game, in the open beta. Thanks for watching, everybody. Waiting for your comments. Cheers.